Kia ora and welcome to our next video in the series of Alexander the Great. Now I do have a little bit of a cough, so there might be some odd interruptions. Look, last time we talked about the Pixodaris affair and that rift between Alexander and Philip that came about. Well, I don't know. I mean, you've got the wedding feast, obviously, with Philip marrying Cleopatra, and you have got the Pixodaris affair. But essentially, at the bottom of it, I think we've got the young bull is challenging the old bull, and the old bull doesn't look like he's going anywhere in any great hurry. In fact, Philip is about to, yeah, he's at the height of his powers, and he has united all of Greece under him. He is the most uh, powerful king in all of Greece, and now he's about to go and invade the mighty Persian Empire, the hereditary enemy of Greece. So Philip doesn't look like he's going to be stepping down anytime soon. However, he's murdered very quickly on. And so there's a sordid story to all of this, as there often is with classics, isn't there? Sex, violence, and rock and roll without the rock and roll. So Philip had a lover, and well, had many lovers, but Philip had one principal lover who was Pausanias of Orestes, a male. And Pausanias was the chief of Philip's bodyguard. So he was a very powerful and quite influential person, and made more so by the fact that he was sharing a bed with the king. Anyway, Philip actually tired of the affections of Pausanias of Orestes, and his gaze started to wander elsewhere, as it does, doesn't it? You know, his gaze found a new wife as well. He's going to find a new boyfriend. And as chance would have it, the new boyfriend he finds is also called Pausanias. So we call the first Pausanias, who was Philip's lover and head of his bodyguard, Pausanias of Orestes, because that is indeed where he was from. And the new Pausanias comes onto the scene. Now, he's probably younger and more attractive than the older Pausanias, than Pausanias of Orestes. And Pausanias of Orestes is furious at this. He's furious that this new lover has come on the scene. So he goes and verbally abuses the new Pausanias, calling him a whore and a prostitute and a slag and all that sort of thing. And this new Pausanias must have been of a rather delicate disposition, because so upset is he, the story goes, by this verbal abuse that he received at the hand of Pausanias of Orestes, that he decided to commit suicide. And he did this in the most melodramatic fashion possible. The very next battle, he histrionically threw himself in front of Philip and received spears and arrows and what have you that were thrown towards Philip. He knew Pausanias received those in his chest and he died on the spot. Gosh knows what Philip thought. But this causes a problem because Attalus, you remember Attalus, who was the uncle of Cleopatra, Philip's new bride. Attalus was the one who shouted out at the wedding, a toast to the legitimate heirs, and him and Alexander had a fight. Now, Attalus is a key general of Philip as well as now being related to him. But he was a friend of the new Pausanias, and Attalus is upset with what Pausanias of Orestes has done, so in the time-honored fashion, he gets him very drunk. And then Pausanias of Orestes, his comatose, very drunken body, is handed over to 7 stable hands, the young men who worked in the stables, and they gang raped Pausanias of Orestes. Imagine that. In the morning, no, feeling a little bit sore, Pausanias of Orestes went to Philip, and very, very upset at what happened, and said, essentially, look at what Attalus has done to me, you need to punish Attalus. Philip was unwilling to punish Attalus. For 2 reasons. Firstly, he was now related to him. He was the uncle of his new bride. And also, Attalus is an important general in the upcoming invasion of Persia. We know that Philip sympathized with Pausanias. He gave him gifts, perhaps some ointment, a plaster or two, but said basically, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do anything about it. And so what this means is that Pausanias is very, very angry, and he plots to kill Philip. So we come to a wedding that is being celebrated. It's of Philip's daughter, confusingly, her name is Cleopatra, to actually Olympus's brother, and confusingly, his name is Alexander. And Philip is celebrating this wedding. And what Philip does is he makes it all about him rather than the happy couple, so to speak. And it's held at the theatre, and there's a procession that comes in first of statues of the 12 Olympian gods. And then there's a 13th statue, and this is a statue of Philip. Now, this has raised many questions. Was Philip insisting that he was a god? No, of course he was not. But he was putting it out there that he is worthy of the respect and honor that is shown to the gods because of all that he had achieved. Now, If you're familiar with the sin of hubris, where one acts above their station and thinks they are worthy of the gods, perhaps challenging the gods, Philip is no doubt guilty of this. Anyway, so Philip, he makes a sort of grand entrance into the theatre, and if you watch the movie, you will see this. He insists that his bodyguards don't follow him, that Alexander doesn't follow him, and he walks in alone. And so he comes out in the front of the theatre onto the stage and receives the rapturous applause of the crowd. At that moment, Pausanias of Orestes marches up to Philip. In the movie, he kisses him. We're not sure who did that. Marches up to Philip and drives his sword into Philip's breast, killing Philip almost on the spot. Philip collapses. He's dead before he hits the ground. Alexander rushes to him, and the city is in pandemonium. Pausanias of Orestes legged it. He ran as fast as he could towards where there were 2 horses waiting for him. 3 of the bodyguard of Philip were chasing Pausanias of Orestes, 3 good friends of Alexander, incidentally, and Pausanias is legging it, sprinting towards the horses, when, oh my goodness, no, he trips over a root, and he falls to the ground, and the 3 bodyguards, friends of Alexander's, are around Pausanias of Orestes, and they drive their spears into him, killing him on the spot. So, Philip is dead. And the new king is Alexander. He receives the applause of the crowd, and most importantly, the support of the army, who show their support by rattling their spears against their shields. And Alexander is now crowned king of Macedon. So he's done it. He's king at last. But there were so many rumors around this. Like, what was going on here? Did Pausanias really act alone? It would seem not. There were 2 horses waiting for him. He wouldn't have tethered those horses there, so someone else must have done that for him. He couldn't have done it because he was involved with the procession and looking after Philip. So what was all that about? Did Pausanias really want to kill the king because he wouldn't punish Attalus? That seems a heck of a leap to make. Yeah, I'm so angry with him, I'm going to kill him. Possible, but it does raise a question. Who was involved in this? Who else was involved in this? Was Pausanias just acting alone? It's unlikely. Was Olympias involved? We know she was always up to scheming and always up to tricks and always desperate to get her son onto the throne. We know that she hated Philip by this stage. Was this a good opportunity to do away with Philip? It's possible. What about the bodyguard? Philip either instructed the bodyguard to step back, or, as 2 of the sources make out, the bodyguard chose to step back. Did they choose to step back to give Philip his time in the sun, or were they part of a wider plot? The 3 who killed Pausanias, the bodyguards who sprinted after him and killed him, that's interesting. They were close friends of Alexander's. Now, why did they kill Pausanias? Why did they not drag him back, torture the hell out of him to find out who else was involved in the conspiracy to kill the king, and then execute him? It seems a little bit too expedient to kill him on the spot. Perhaps he knew too much. What are the motives for killing Philip? Really? Pausanias? Really? Because he didn't punish Attalus? Come on. Alexander had motives for killing Philip. Olympias had motives for killing Philip. Both wanted Alexander to get onto the throne. It seemed that Philip was about to eclipse Alexander's chances of being powerful and successful. Philip was about to go conquer the Persian Empire. Well, surely he would win. Is it time to get him out of the way? Who benefits? Well, Olympias benefits. Her husband is dead. Brilliant. That's what she wanted. And her son is on the throne. Alexander benefited because now he becomes king. And Philip can't take all the glory that he would want for himself. So there's lots of rumors around this. There's lots of rumors around who was involved in the killing of Philip. It's almost impossible to imagine it was just Pausanias who was upset about his treatment of Attalus. There is highly likely there are others involved, but there is no evidence. It's only circumstantial. Generally, people tend to think Olympias had some sort of involvement. If Alexander was involved, I don't know. Killing his father, that's a big step. Many think he wasn't involved, but if he did hear rumors what Olympias was planning, he was happy to let it go ahead. We do know he was upset after the death of his father. but it's hard to tell what was the cause of the upset. Now, these rumours dogged Alexander all his life, that him and his mother were somehow involved, or he, at the very least, was complicit in letting it happen. So you'd need to make up your own mind about that and argue your own points. Okay, so that is the murder of Philip, and so our next point will be Alexander. He is now the king of Macedon. Kapa.